Coming up next, Booking It continues their discussion on Oooh! The Call of the Wild. Hey everybody, and welcome to Booking It, where four Christian homeschoolers discuss books. I'm your humble and eloquent host, Cooper Cobbs. I am excited because I am joined today by my three friends, Tanner Lewis,
Hello.
Isaiah Redsky,
Hi.
and Matthew Killingsworth.
Howdy.
Matthew Killingsworth saying howdy with his cowboy hat and cowboy boots, walking around. How you doing, everybody?
Good.
Pretty
Just
good.
got a new pair of boots. Trying them on while I'm recording. Not really.
Is that a new hat too? Do my eyes deceive me? Is it a new hat?
No.
No.
I'm not wearing a hat, see.
Tanner, when was the last time you got a new cowboy hat?
Never in my life. We have 3 antiques.
What? You're a Texas boy and you've never gotten a cowboy hat?
Because we have original cowboy hats, like real cowboy hats. The one
Yeah.
that my grandfather used when he drove the last cattle through
Wagon.
Texas.
But you've never actually had your own cowboy hat?
Not my own.
And you call yourself Texans? I
Hey,
don't get you.
I need
mean,
money, folks. I do not need a cowboy hat. I need money.
So he lives in Texas. I mean, I'm pretty sure he'd be called a Texan if he lives in Texas.
Yes, but you need a cowboy
Isaiah,
hat.
I don't
you weren't
have a
born
and
here.
cowboy
live
You
in
don't
Texas
understand.
to be called a Texan.
I don't have a cowboy
There's a
hat.
difference
Actually-
between living in Texas, being a citizen of Texas, and being a Texan, okay? There's a big difference. Being a Texan, you gotta love barbecue and...
I'm pretty sure Bucky's is
you
somewhere in
gotta
there,
love
too.
Buc-ee's, you gotta love steak, you gotta love, cowboy hats, you
Gotta
gotta have
drink
a cowboy
barbecue
hat.
sauce.
Yeah, drink
Oh,
barbecue
no.
sauce.
No.
You know, I know a person who's lived in Texas their entire life, and guess what? They have never watched a football game.
Okay, that's what you call a citizen of Texas, but they're not a Texan. They're not a Texan.
Are they even legally here? Do we know?
What the heck? Okay, you can get that out.
Oh, I know what to do.
Oh, just to clarify, everybody, I don't actually have cowboy boots.
Yeah, no. He's got his... What are you wearing, socks? You're wearing socks, right?
No, I'm not wearing socks. So random.
So, next question.
No, yeah, okay, we can.
Oh, come on,
we
Isaiah.
can-
We're having fun here.
We're having some fun over here, man.
Let me just take a shot of barbecue sauce real quick, and then I'll get right into it.
I think I might leave that.
You can leave all of that. Oh, man, this is fun. Okay, unfortunately, we had to leave the hot 100-degree weather of Texas and the burning sun, even though it's raining right now. And
You want to
go to
retry
the-
that?
No,
Yeah.
No, this is also transition. I'm leaving it. We're going into the cold wilderness of the Yukon in Canada.
That was terrible.
You gotta leave that in. That was a beautiful that
Right, yeah, we
transition.
made fun.
Tanner, what do you think about that transition?
That was pretty spicy.
Thank you. I know, right? Tanner's always on my side when it comes to these things. Thank you, Tanner. I appreciate that.
I'm here for you, Cooper. I'm here for you.
I
Or not.
appreciate that. See, true Texan over there, even though he doesn't have a cowboy hat.
I have a cowboy hat. It's not my cowboy hat, though.
I'm confused. I'm confused.
All right, speaking of cowboy hats, let's talk about Call of the Wild.
I don't think that transition was exponentially worse than my transition.
Exponentially.
So, main character of the book, Buck, he defeats the other dog, Spitz, in a battle, and Buck becomes the new leader of the pack, right?
Yep.
Yeah,
I
pretty
said
much.
pack, not back. But was his leadership really any different than Spitz's? Because he kind of had the same leadership style.
Not really.
Not really. Why not?
Not really any different.
Give some examples, please.
Oh, well, he also decided that he was a big dog now, so he could fight people if he wanted to, and dogs, fight people and dogs. And
Well, he already been doing that though.
yeah, I know, but once he defeated the biggest dog, then he decided he was the biggest dog.
Which technically he was if he defeated the
Okay.
biggest one.
You guys give some examples.
Tanner, you're always good at this. Why don't you give us some examples?
I think that his leadership is different because it's a leadership of unity versus Spitz's was more of a I'm gonna lick you into shape by killing you not
Yeah.
something that Buck ever did, from what we understand from the book, which
You're
is a
saying he had a
huge
bit more
difference.
like of a respect relationship with his younger, his
I
peers.
think he actually like cared about them, not like Spitz, who didn't care anything that happened to them as long as he stayed the leader.
And I think he had a better, he cared about them more, and I think he had a better idea of how to teach them because, like Tanner said, or was it you or Tanner? Someone
I think
said
it's Tanner.
that Spitz thought it was a good way to teach people if you just killed them to death.
Killed him to death.
Buck, yeah, Buck,
He killed Spitz.
To death.
yeah, he killed Spitz, but then he didn't have the same like teacher
Disciplinary.
mindset.
Yeah.
Yeah, he decided to be a little bit nicer, and
Yeah.
actually just like do his job.
Yeah. So, later on, Buck's like, he didn't get the leader spot, which was Spitz, and it was given to another dog, Solex. But Buck would not let Solex have it, and he wanted it, and he kind of bit Solex. So, do you think that Buck actually deserved the leader spot?
I
Or
mean,
not.
yeah, according to like the Club and Fang law, like it's basically the biggest dog becomes the leader, and he killed the biggest one. So
And he was the one who was called to the wild. So
hence the name Call of the Wild.
But he's tamed.
Yet he still killed another dog.
He's running a dog. He's running a dog sled. He's not running free.
Yeah, and killing
Yeah.
dogs.
Yeah. fair
that's
enough.
true.
Totally tame.
I just want to reiterate the fact that Spitz is an awesome name for a bad dog. I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's pretty good,
Pretty good name.
especially how it was spelled.
Yeah. Yeah, it's true. So
Yeah,
the,
Spitz with a
the-
Z, not an S. That's awesome.
That's pretty awesome. I mean, I want my name to be, yeah,
No, you don't.
Cobbs with a Z. That'd be pretty hot. But can this apply to real life in a way? I deserve it. I should get it. Is that how we should think?
Sometimes, but not all the time. Sometimes it's better to be humble, and if someone else is gonna still do a good job, you think, then you should let them too.
Yeah. As in,
Like-
Matthew, why don't you stop talking first and let the other people in this podcast talk first?
No, I gave
I
them
think
a good
Matthew's good
30
talking
seconds
first.
to answer, and they didn't. So
Uh,
I'm saving
yeah.
Isaiah from even more editing.
Yeah, thanks for cutting out those 30 silent seconds where nobody responded, Isaiah.
Yep,
Yep.
totally leave
Yep.
it.
But an example in real life is like the presidency. Like everyone has their own political beliefs, or everyone that's like somewhat involved and cares about the country does, and they're obviously not going to be the president unless they're really rich and decide to run for president and go through all that. So, but they can support someone who can run for president and has a good chance of making it, so that they can still see the stuff they want play out in the country.
Yeah. Tanner, what about you?
Yeah, I think he deserved the spot. But the application to real life, I don't really think that that we should ever put ourselves in that mindset of I did it, I deserve it. I mean, if somebody acknowledges that you did it and puts you in that spot, great, take that spot. You've been offered it. But if you're just feeling entitled to it, like Buck was, it's not really a good thing. Unless the person who's doing it is seriously qualified and it's basically going to affect a lot more people than you, sure, speak up. But in an application to real life, not really.
After that, basically Buck, he moves on owners. He has another Scotch half-breed. I thought it was kind of funny how they did the dog-human perspective. I thought that was kind of funny. But after that, he gives to a new owner. What are the name? Hal? Is that Hal in them? Hal and Mercedes or something like that?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Hal and Mercedes and hold on.
Charles.
Charles. Hey, yes.
Yes.
So basically, they push Buck's team very hard, and they're trying to get somewhere in time. And they push them really hard, and the dogs are really getting tired, and they're not really doing very well. So basically, they kind of in the book just say that people who have the like knack for knowing when to push the dogs and when to not, or knowing when to risk going on ice, something like that. It's called the patience of the trail. Why do you think some people had that and some people didn't?
Well, like I said, they were just patient. They had to learn all that
Yeah, they were
somehow.
noobs.
Like learn
Howell
what?
and Mercedes and Charles, they were noobs.
Oh, totally. They had no idea what
They
they were
literally
doing.
like loaded their
They
sled.
basically,
The dogs could not move it an inch. They had to get like rid of like 2/3 of it.
yep. And then later on, they tried going on ice, even though people who were like way
Someone
better
who
at
had
it
the patience of
and
the
like
trail.
have been doing it for a lot
Yeah,
longer.
he said nope.
Yes, that was much more experienced. Told them it's gonna break, and yeah, it broke and they died.
But Buck lived.
Except
Do you
Buck.
guys think Buck developed the patience of the trail?
Absolutely. But I don't know if dogs
Yeah.
if dogs could have that.
Yeah,
I
I
think
just
this was more referred
I
to
know.
like
I just mean
I
like
mean, I think the
if he was
dogs would
smart
have it
enough
more.
to know what
Yeah.
he
Like, I think
should
more
go
dogs
on
would
and what he
have
shouldn't.
it though.
Yeah, but I mean by this point, he had calloused feet. He was strong.
Yeah, he didn't need to wear
he was
shoes
the leader of
anymore.
the pack. Yeah.
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 And being a dog, like in the sled team, you'd have to adapt and learn everything, like what you can do physically and what the others can
Yeah.
do.
Yeah.
All right, Tanner, what do you think about that? The patience of the trail.
Um, yeah, I think that. So we're talking about people and not dogs, correct? Or we're talking
Right.
about dogs and not people?
People.
Yeah, some people definitely did, but others didn't. It was pretty obvious, like
Like
Charles.
why? I think that was more the question. Like why?
Why? It would be why because basically they weren't prepared. They were not teachable. They didn't have patience. I mean, in the name.
Yeah.
And they basically they weren't prepared for hardships, which you're definitely going to get when you're going to the middle of nowhere.
Yes. I like that point where you were like, yeah, they weren't teachable. I think that was a good point because people would tell them, hey, don't go over the ice, and they still did it. They were really complaining. Yeah,
They
they
were
were really
stubborn.
complaining about having to get rid of a lot of stuff. They weren't really teachable. I think that was a good point. So the person who tried to stop them, his name is John Thornton.
Mm-hmm.
And so basically what happens here in this scene, they're about to go over the ice, and Buck just stops. The whole sled stops, basically. And basically the guy beats Buck to try and get him up, and Buck just will not get up. And Buck's probably about to die if he keeps getting beaten, right? But then John Thornton comes and cuts him out of the traces, which is like the sled thing that holds the dogs in. That's what I'm gonna say.
A rope.
And yeah, sure, whatever. And then he drags Buck away, and then they go off, and then they fall on the ice and sadly drown. But so John Thornton, he had sympathy for Buck, right? Being in the Yukon for a long time, he had probably seen dogs get beaten a lot, right? Why do you think he had sympathy for Bucks specifically?
Maybe because he noticed that he was like a one-of-a-kind dog. Or something like that. Like, there was no other dog from where he was from that was like him and as good as being a...
He was
Like,
special.
what like struck his heart to be like, I need to rescue him more than any other dog?
The call. I don't know.
What? Yeah, John was like, I feel something calling me to cut him out. Yes, that's exactly what it is.
Because he actually knew what dogs were and wasn't dumb enough to take them on ice and then beat them.
Yeah.
So
He had the
I guess
patience.
he had the patience of the trail.
Tanner, what about you?
Yeah, I would say it was because he saw that the owners were basically dragging him to his death, and he was trying to protect his owners at that time. And and while he's trying to protect him, he's getting beaten, like beaten.
Yeah.
So I think that's where the sympathy would come out. Like, I'd have sympathy for a dog if that was what was happening to him.
Yeah.
So unjust.
Do you have the
to
patience
just-
of the trail?
Nice, Matthew. You totally cut off my train of thought.
Oops.
Well, continue.
Okay. So, but at this point, when he's rescued, do you think he's still kind of more of a civilized dog or a tame dog? Or you think he's really all wild now? If he was still tame, what do you think kind of held him back from being all wild?
Maybe because he still kind of respected people as masters.
And I think it's just John Thornton, right?
It is. He even says it in the book, like, the only thing holding him back from going wild was the love of John Thornton. That's the only tie he had to any part of the human world now.
Yeah. This is the title of the chapter is literally called like "For the Love of Man." Isaiah, Matthew, you have anything more to say about that? I think we can stay here a while.
We can stay here a while.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, but Tanner, we'll go back to you. What about it? Like, what about John Thornton held him back besides like the love? You know.
Like, why did he love him?
Sure.
Well, probably because he saved him.
Yeah.
Isaiah and Matthew, I have one question for you right now. Did you pay
What?
attention this chapter?
Yeah.
Not really. I'm kidding.
Yeah.
Yes,
yes.
but that was like a couple weeks ago, so I don't fully remember it, but I still do.
Look, like Isaiah, when I think about it, if I were to rescue you from something, okay, let's just pretend you didn't like me, okay. Just because I rescue you does not mean you're just gonna love me now, right?
Yeah, but we don't know that he didn't like him.
Well, yeah, but he was also nice to him afterwards.
Yeah,
Like,
he always treated him
it
like
wasn't
a good
just
dog.
that. Yeah, he
His-
like cleaned out his wounds and
He was
took care of
basically
him.
one of his best masters, besides his first one, which wasn't really a master anyway, the judge.
And why was it his best master?
Because, like Matthew
Because
just
he
said,
was-
he always treated them nicely, and
he actually cared
didn't
about
beat 'em.
dogs the most. And
Exactly.
Hey,
like
there we go.
he didn't just know about dogs. Like, for example, the guy in the red sweatshirt or whatever his name is. He knew about dogs, and he could find a good dog and know when to steal it and then beat it up before he would sell it to like beat it into submission. But John Thornton actually knew about dogs well enough, and like he had the patience of the trail, but he also cared about dogs, and he took his own time to be kind and take care of him.
Gosh, maybe Tanner should be the host. He's gotten a lot of good stuff out of these guys.
So you want Tanner to take your place?
No, of course
you
not.
not
Are you,
do
That's
anything.
just
are you
it.
saying I don't usually give out good stuff?
Well, I mean, think about this, Matthew. Remember in the first episode, the famous line, "He's
Oh,
hungry"?
the famous line? Yeah, that was...
What's the famous line? It was on
Yeah.
my
You-
bookshelf.
Give me a
He's hungry.
characteristic about Thorin. He's hungry.
That was me.
Yeah, I know. I'm saying, like, you don't...
Maybe
like,
I should be the host.
That's the worst. The listeners are just going to be laughing because Matthew's just clueless and they know what we're saying anyway.
Actually, that might be good for Matthew to be host one time. It'll probably also podcast will get tons more downloads.
Yeah.
Oh,
if Matthew's host.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, speaking of that, hey, if you have somebody who likes to Call It the Wild, we would be very grateful if you could just send the link to the episode. That would be awesome.
Wait, what?
Or doesn't like it. We got to give him this episode to make him like it.
No.
Yeah.
Yes.
And
So, after this, they kind of move on. They go and they find a spot. There's a lot of gold dust. And Buck doesn't really stay around the camp.
Cooper.
He's kind of becoming more wild, right? And
Yeah,
he goes
he's hanging
out
out with
and
the
he
wolves
hunts.
and hunting and all
Yeah,
that.
he's
wait,
hanging out
Tanner,
with the
did you just
wolves.
say something?
Yes, I did. This is definitely getting cut out, but wanted to say something, but I never had a point about John Thornton.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so I think that that Buck loved John Thornton because John Thornton understood dogs and he loved dogs.
Didn't me and Matthew say
Isn't
that?
that what I just said?
Yeah.
Hey, let Tanner say it. It sounds like way
Oh.
better when he says it.
Oh,
whoa.
Cooper.
So just like Matthew was saying, the man in the red sweater. The man in the red sweater, he understood dogs, but he understood dogs so that he could tame them, and not tame them like John Thornton tamed dogs. where, as you saw, the two other dogs that John Thornton owned, like, were amazing dogs, like sweet, strong, everything. But the dogs that the Red Sweater Man did, he tamed dogs into a way that they were like submissive, and like not submissive in a way that's like a nice submission, but like a submission in which they're savage and extremely rough. Like,
So are you saying that parents shouldn't spank their kids?
Oh, whoa.
not what I was
Is that what
saying.
you're saying?
Yes.
Yeah, totally.
How was it different? Huh?
I'm
Well,
confused now.
no, he was doing
How,
it
you're
to
saying, like, I'm comparing, like, what you
Okay,
said
the
to, like, parents spanking children. Like, you were like,
the guy in the red
they beat them
sweatshirt.
into submission.
didn't
Then
beat-
this
Okay,
guy.
okay, hold on.
The guy in the red
Let's clarify
sweatshirt
this.
beat them to break them.
Let's clarify this. Parents do not spank their kids into submission. They spank their kids as punishments for bad stuff they already did. Okay?
The guy in
And
the
but
red
they
red
still
sweatshirt-
love them.
Was ruthless. He
Unless-
just
There you
beat
go.
him.
Yeah, the
He
dude in
beat
the
him
red
for no
sweatshirt
reason.
just found random dogs and then like beat them with a
He
club,
didn't-
like
he
for
didn't
no
even
reason.
try
They
to
didn't even
train
do
him.
anything bad to get punished for
Should we tell the listener, like, who the guy with the red sweater is? I think they're just.
They don't
He's a
say his
dude
name,
who
do they?
beats dogs and illegally transports dogs.
Yeah.
He's pretty
basically at the
sketchy,
very
basically.
beginning. At the very beginning, yeah. Oh, yeah. He's very sketchy. Do you have anything else to say about this before we move on? So during this time, like, Buck is going out in the wild, he's hunting, but is he like what you would call a killer? Is he a killer? Would you say that?
Buck?
Yeah.
Well, he kills
At
animals.
this point in the
Yes.
book. Like
Yeah, I
like
guess.
what makes an animal? a
It
killer?
depends what you mean by killer. Hunting.
wasn't,
like,
People hunting
rabid
could
or
be a
anything.
killer. People who
So
hunt,
fine.
you could make them say that they're a killer, but they could be doing it just for food. But you could also do it as people who kill for fun.
Well, yeah, that's what Buck.
Mercenaries, stuff
Buck
like that.
wasn't just killing for fun.
No, exactly.
Yeah.
So then I don't.
So he's
I mean,
not a killer,
he definitely
Okay.
killed, but I don't think he's a killer like what you're saying.
right?
Yeah,
Taylor, what
like-
do you think?
Wise.
Yeah, so you should probably define what a killer is before you ask this question, because
Isn't that
Getting
what I'm saying?
roasted.
I purposely asked it like that though.
It's a
Ooh,
great que-
roasted bad.
it's a great question. You're basically asking. So what I'm assuming that you're asking is that you're asking a killer as in a killer. So right now, I am assuming that you're saying a killer as in somebody who is killing for no reason at all, not for recreational
Right,
use or
right,
like
exactly.
food or anything. I'm assuming
exactly
that
like
you
that.
are saying this, that you're killing as in you're killing to kill.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So, basically, Buck is not one because Buck only kills for food. He always eats that food. Like, he never lets it waste.
Oh yeah, he's hungry.
He's always hungry.
Sadly, after kind of the edge of this book, after this point, Buck, he goes back from one of his hunts one day, and John Thorne and all the people at the camp, they're killed by by Indians. Okay, and so basically here are the Indians, based on the definition that we established with the last questions. Sorry, the last question, are the Indians killers?
Well, it depends because we don't know the actual story. We just know that Indians killed them. But we don't know if the Indians attacked them or if they
Let's
attacked
just
I think they are.
assume that the Indians just attacked them instead of.
Then if the
guys
Indians just
pursued them.
attacked them for no reason, then
Are you
yes,
talking
the
about when
Indians
they're
are
on the
killers.
ice with the?
Like the very
Third
last
Masters?
part.
The end of the book.
Oh, okay.
You remember that part, right, Matthew? Right,
Mhm.
Matthew?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's what we're talking about. Are the Indians killers, based on the definition of the last question?
Well, it also, like I just said, depends on with the Indians. We don't know the actual story. We just
like
know
I
that
said,
Indians
let's
killed
just assume that they attacked them for no reason.
them. All right, if the
They-
Indians
yeah.
attack them, then yes, they're killers.
Okay.
But even
Wait.
then, they couldn't.
Well,
They
yeah.
might not be. I mean, yes, they killed, but it also we need to figure out. We need to know a reason why.
So you think that basically, if you're saying the Indians, they killed them because they thought they were disrupting the natural order of things, would they still be killers?
Then yes.
Okay. Tanner, what about you?
I would agree with Isaiah. I don't really think that there's a lot to add on to that. Like, the Indians attacked for no reason that is defined in there, so Therefore, they are killers.
Killing for a personal belief, like you said, like because they believed they were destroying the natural order or whatever. Like a natural belief, I don't think is a reason to kill somebody.
Yeah.
Or a personal belief, because like if you think about like Christians who go on mission trips in other countries and get killed, the other people that are killing them don't realize it's wrong, or maybe they do, but like they just believe what they believe, and they have their laws, so they think it's right to kill people who are trying to tell people other things.
Right.
But that
like,
doesn't mean it's right to kill them.
The same thing with like the Germans, like they killed the Jews for whatever twisted reason because they thought, that their race was the perfect race,
Right.
and they didn't.
That's,
I mean,
again,
like in
they're
order to do
killers.
like all the evil things that they did, they had to realize that this was like not right.
well,
I mean,
I
not,
think-
they had
no,
to
they
realize
don't have
they
to.
couldn't know it was wrong. Basically, they didn't know it was wrong.
I mean, some of them could know it's wrong, and they just
Right.
didn't care.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly.
I mean, it's like mercenaries. Mercenaries love killing.
Right.
They'll do whatever to kill.
But like after this, Buck proceeds to kill every single one of the Indians, and all that stuff. Do you think that Buck should have done this or no?
It might have been a bit much.
a bit,
yeah, I
a
think
bit
the same.
much.
Yeah, just a bit.
Yeah, this happens to be my favorite portion of the book just because of the way it's written.
Whoa.
I knew I'm
True
gonna
Texan
get a lot
there.
of haters for that. I'm gonna get
Legit.
a lot of haters for that statement, but it legitimately is my favorite portion of the entire book.
I mean, it's almost sad, like how he writes so good in these parts.
Yeah.
It's kind of sad. So, closing thoughts on Call of the Wild, guys.
Good book, a lot of bloodshed.
Yeah. I would not recommend anybody reading this unless you're like 11. I think I would say 11.
I second
don't
that
think it-
review.
I don't think
I'd say-
it's that bad.
I don't think it's that bad either. Probably
I think when you're younger, you think
9
it's
to
worse.
10.
Just like-
I think it'd be fine.
I rated like
I guess
9.
it just depends on the kid.
Okay. Alrighty. Better than, worse than, okay? Let's go around the table.
This is better than I'm gonna actually have to say this is worse than Emma by Jane
Emma,
Austen.
what the heck?
Stop.
How is Emma by Jane Austen related to Call of the Wild?
Let me finish my sentence. I love that
Dude.
book. I haven't finished it yet, but I'm enjoying it, so don't get on to me, Cooper.
Emma is not related.
But it's got to
to-
relate.
Does it have to relate?
Yes,
Yes.
it has to relate.
Then I don't have anything. You're welcome.
Okay, Matthew, go ahead.
It's better than
Isaiah, better than, worse than. Okay. Look, it's better than White Fang. You haven't read it, but it's worse than Red Fern Grows. Where Red Fern Grows is better. Hey, Van Pappy, Isaiah's grandparents, Isaiah's uncle, my grandma. Thank you so much. Go to patreon.com/booking it. The link's included in the description below. We really appreciate you. Make sure you guys go and rate and review us. Matthew, hit it with a goodbye. Hit it with the goodbye.
keep
Matthew.
on booking it.